Good evening. I'd like to call the session of the Board of Education regular meeting for Monday, December 12th, 2013. Mr. Miller, can you?
2022. 2022.
22. I forgot to do. I'm here. Early.
Back to the future. Mr. Dahl?
Here.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Here.
Dr. Rohr?
Here.
Mr. Schullier?
Here.
Megan Sparks?
Here.
Sort of.
Please stand for the agenda. Come back.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have a motion to appoint Brian L. Miller, Treasurer Pro Tem? So moved.
Second.
Mr. Miller, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schullier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Can I have an approval or motion for the approval of the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second. Mr. Miller, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schullier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Mr. Westman, can you do the honors portion, please?
Yes, thank you. Again, it's exciting tonight to have our girls golf team here to recognize them, their accomplishment in winning the state title this year. I'd like to ask Coach Dalton to please come forward. We'll talk a little bit about the team here to the podium. Can you talk a little bit about the team, their accomplishments, and a chance to recognize our student athletes.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. This was our 8th straight year to state, so that was, I think, the most in the Southwest District. This group right here, last year, 4 of the 5 of them played the state tournament. We got 4th, setting a school record. It's been kind of a long time coming, getting very, very close. We've been 2nd, 3rd, 3 times, 4th, and 5th. So this was the first state title that the girls team has won in 27 years, I believe. So it was just it was a great weekend, and it's a very deserving group. So they beat 2 of the best teams in the state, and it was about as good as we could do. So they will be heading to the national championship in July in Dallas, Texas. So you want to call them up? That's okay. We will start with, and I'm going to tell you their individual placement as well. Alana Miller placed 29th, senior. Sanjana Reddy, also a senior, placed 22nd. Senior Leanne Harker, placed 12th. Sophomore Bridget Nickel tied her and also placed 12th. Senior Morgan Rogers placed 8th and made second team All-State for the 2nd year in a row.
So now, our 2-time state champions, girls doubles in tennis. I'd like to ask Scott Long to please come forward and talk a little about the championship run with our doubles tennis team.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for having us here. These are 2 special ladies over here, and our whole team this year. We faced 3rd in the state overall as a team this year. It was fantastic, but these 2 ladies here took them from singles to playing in the doubles title, and sometimes it's easy to do, sometimes it's hard. But these guys have that gift to being, as you said, 2-time state champion, and 3 years ago they were runners-up. They finished 2nd 3 years ago. So as a duo, they are right there in the top tier of the state of Ohio for the most decorated doubles team that for winning 2 state titles and finishing 2nd place. So they came together this year, and we had a lot of good matches through the year to get them ready for it, both singles and doubles. And when it came to it and the doubles, they basically, I don't think you got the set, if I remember right. It was 2 sets throughout the way, and anytime they had just a little bit of setback, they were able to come right back up and kind of take the title. And so they did a fantastic job this year. We have, first of all, do the senior. We have senior Caroline Hinshaw. And then we have junior Clara Owen. Thanks again.
Thank you.
There's a lieutenant commander.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We're going to go ahead and
Because they
continue our
transferred
meeting. The next portion is public participation. The Board of Education recognizes the value to school governance of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. The presiding officer of each board meeting at which public participation is permitted shall administer the following rules listed in our agenda. For those who come to the podium, please state your name if you represent a party and if you are a resident of Centerville or Washington Township. And you have 3 minutes. Except there's only one today. Is it Paul?
Mr. Paul.
Just Paul.
Paul SZEWCZYK, I'm a resident of Washington Township, and I represent OMB. When the board gets to the section of board and administrative reports, I wish you would elaborate a little bit more on the board policy relative to weapons in the school. The superintendent explained what isn't permitted, but I don't understand what is, if anything. So if you could just elaborate on that policy, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Moving on again. Legislative report. Okay, legislative report. The Senate passed Senate Bill 178. The bill would reform the functions and responsibilities of the State Board of Education, the Superintendent of Public Instruction, and the Ohio Department of Education would implement the following provisions. Create a Department of Education and Workforce with a cabinet-level director appointed by the governor and approved by the state. Divide the agency into 2 divisions. The Division of Primary and Secondary Education, which would also include preschool, and the Division of Career and Technical Education. Authorize the new department to be responsible for the rulemaking process and the enforcement of current rules. Maintain the current structure of the SBOE, but limit its duties to teacher licensure, education or staff conduct, and territory transfer decisions. The bill now heads to the House for consideration. There is some concern that this bill will be passed in lame duck session, most likely on Wednesday. There are several hearings going on and a few bills that I'm currently watching, such as House Bill 359, which would license and regulate art therapists and music therapists, Senate Bill 358, which would increase the eligibility from 6 to 9 regarding the education of children experiencing developmental delays and state operating funding for districts and schools educating such children, Senate Bill 361, which would allow school districts to employ veterans of U.S. Armed Forces that have met certain requirements as teachers without license, House Bill 432, which would require the State Chief Information Officer every 2 years to conduct an examination of OD to determine the risk of data breach. And then House Bill 281, sponsored by our Representative Tom Young, which would change terminology in the Ohio Revised Code as it pertains to people with mental illness and disabilities. And that is the end of my report. Thank you. The next is the student board reps, led by Thomas Garcia.
Okay, so on Friday, me and Jacob went to the Montgomery County
Talking to the
Education Center.
Take it out, Jake, or Thomas.
Hold it up so we
Yeah,
can hear you.
talk.
We talked about money in education with Representative Willis Blackshear Jr. and Ohio State Board President Charlotte McGuire. And Ed.
All right, good evening. My name is Jacob. This was a really good time with Thomas. This was my 6th meeting, and this was his 2nd meeting, which is why I had him start out the reporting tonight, get used to it, because I've only got 2 more until I leave you guys. But again, these are meetings that we go to at the Montgomery County Educational Service Center. We go there once per quarter, usually on a Friday. It's from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. It's all day long. And as Thomas said, we meet with local leaders, including representatives and individuals from the state board. We also met with individuals from Sinclair Community College, and we talked about money in education and what that looks like and the different viewpoints on that. We got educated on how resources and funds are allocated to local schools, and also discussed redlining within different cities and how that impacts educational funding. And so it was very, very educational experience for Thomas and I, because we do live in a very, very nice district, but it was nice to learn that not everyone, not nice, but it was a useful tool and a useful lesson that not everybody has the resources that we have here in Centerville. So it was an eye-opening experience for the two of us, and we're looking forward to our next meeting in February.
Wait, before you leave, maybe at the next meeting you'll talk about the State Board of Education in terms of the changes that the governor and the legislature is looking at doing, basically eliminating most of all their powers. I don't know if you want to comment on that now.
No, so I know there is a motion up at the State House, in the Senate and the House, to basically abolish the State Board of Education, and individuals have signed on to that, including, I believe, our personal representative, Tom Young. So that is something that we do need to keep our eyes on, because we don't really want, personally, I like separation of powers, making sure that there's multiple levels, that decision-making is a multi-level process. It's not just a unilateral decision. So that is something that we can definitely look at and discuss with Shannon Cox and SZEWCZYK from Learn to Earn, and different leaders within the county. So
if you want to report on that when you come back, that would be interesting. Also, if you want to look at the House Bill 151, and maybe you have comments on that next time.
Absolutely. I should be up in Columbus this month or this week, so I can probably go to a hearing or two and see if I can get some information on
Okay,
that.
and I'll send you some information if you need.
Thank you, Dr. Rohr.
Okay, item number 3, Business Department. Mr. Colopez?
Good evening, everybody. For the 23-24 school year, the Business Department is looking to purchase 7 buses through the Southwest Ohio Educational Purchasing Council. The EPC is 264-member school districts that work together to get the best possible prices on a lot of materials, including buses. As you would have guessed, with most things, prices are increasing tremendously over what they were in the past. So we're looking to purchase 7 buses total this year, 3 Cardinal Bluebird Transits at $132,864 each. In an attempt to save money, we've moved. We've traditionally had rear engine transit buses in the past. We're looking to move those to front engine as a way to help cut costs. Moving that engine saves $21,444 per bus. Also looking to purchase 1 Rush International Conventional with a lift for students with disabilities for $131,775. That's an increase of about $26,000 over last year's prices. And then 3 Rush International Conventional buses for $121,270. And that price increase is just under $25,000. To help offset that cost, we did receive $45,000 from the Ohio Department of Education to replace a bus that is currently on a regular route. And so with that, it'll bring our total down to $849,177, which brings us just under budget for this school year. Second report is regarding the Driscoll roofing project. The Driscoll roof has reached the end of its life, and we've accepted bids through the Qualis Group for the replacement of that for the replacement of that roof. So about 45,000 square feet of roofing is going to be replaced. We're requesting that approval now in order to get that material in and have that process ready to start at the end of school, so we can get that completed during the summer months when school is not in session. Maxim Roofing was the lowest bid. We received 4 bids as part of this process, but Maxim Roofing was the lowest and best bid. The total bid was $825,290, which is about $100,000 less than the other bids. As part of this, we will receive a 20-year warranty on this roof. And as part of the building assessment reports that we had completed a couple years ago, this was one of the items that was listed as a necessity, something that needed to be done within 1 to 5 years. And the estimated cost in that report was $827,000. So we're right just below that estimate of cost.
Mr. Vogel, in the work session, you mentioned that while the bus purchases are right below budget, we're not able, because of the cost increases, we're not able to purchase as many as normal. What do we usually purchase, about 8 or 9?
So yeah, typically between 8 to 10 is a typical purchase. Purchasing 7 this year is the lowest amount of buses we've purchased since 2016. Just with the increase in price, we're doing the best we can to cut down on that cost and make sure that we're maintaining that budget.
Okay, have we worked with Maxim before?
Yes, we have. They've done a couple projects in the district. The latest one was at the maintenance garage. They've done the roofing there.
We have good experience with them.
Yes. We've had. They've been a contractor for a number of projects in the district, and Mr. Dom has no issues and no concerns with them at all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Item number 4, board policies.
Yes, thank you. So, good evening. I just want to share a little bit of an update in the board policies. Back in November, I shared with the board several policies that were due to be revised and updated in our board policy manual. I selected a group of 11 policies to review and discuss. We've had the opportunity in 2 work sessions now to review those policies, and we've talked about those policies over the last several weeks. Those policies include weapons meant for the administrative staff, preschool program policy, career advising, district-sponsored clubs and activities, general scholastic athletics and selected co-curricular programs, employment of personnel and co-curricular and extracurricular activities, weapons for certificated staff, weapons for classified staff, eligibility of resident and non-resident students, travel payment reimbursement, relocation costs, and weapons for visitors. So several policies tonight to review. We spent quite a bit of time in answering a lot of questions from various different areas of those policies. We did take some time to concentrate on the 4 weapons policies that dealt with administrative staff, certificated staff, classified staff, and visitors. And essentially, the Ohio Revised Code, our policy update is to meet the changes that are in the Ohio Revised Code and what's up in the code, which is Ohio Revised Code section 2923.122. Essentially, our stance hasn't changed as a board, whereas the superintendent, we've been in agreement of not having weapons or allowing staff to conceal and carry in our buildings or on our property, and that the policies match our agreement with that from a district standpoint. So by no means are we looking to authorize staff to be able to conceal and carry, but it's just to match the Ohio Revised Code and bring that up to speed to where it needs to be from a district policy standpoint. So I wanted to share that and see if the board had any additional questions. I would like the board to vote on a recommendation or resolution towards the end of the agenda to approve the 11 policies that we discussed.
Mr. Wesley, you talked about staff, administrators, et cetera. Weapons for visitors, is that the same?
That's correct, yes.
And again, we talked about all these policies extensively up until this meeting for the last few weeks. So it's something we're just voting on. I haven't just read it.
That's my report. Thank you.
Next item is treasurer's recommendation. Consider approving the November 2022 financial statements, monthly general fund rolling report, monthly cash reconciliation, monthly fund activity report, then and out purchase orders approved by administration, certified by the treasurer, and supported by the board resolution totaling $148,229.14.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Miller, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Consider approving the minutes of the following Board of Education meetings. November 28, 2022, regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Consider a resolution to authorize the treasurer to request advance payments of taxes when available during 2023. Do you want to do discussion on this?
Well, yeah. You want to say anything?
It's a standard part of our policy to approve it moving forward.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Mr. Miller.
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Next item is superintendent recommendations. Schedule A, the superintendent recommends accepting resignations as listed on Schedule A. Schedule B, the superintendent recommends the change of employment status or change of contract status for certified personnel listed on Schedule B for the salaries programs on the effective dates given. Schedule C, the superintendent recommends the employment or change of employment status for supportive staff personnel listed on Schedule C for the salaries, programs, and on effective dates given. Schedules D and D1, the superintendent recommends the employment of the personnel listed on Schedule D and D1 for supplemental contracts or extra duty assignments. In Schedule E, the superintendent recommends granting the leave of absence for the personnel listed on Schedule E for the reasons and on the dates given.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Miller, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Schedule D2, the superintendent recommends employment of the personnel listed on Schedule D2 for supplemental contracts or extra duty assignments.
So moved.
Second.
Could you call the roll, please, Mr. Miller?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Abstain, please. Item number 2, consider accepting bids to the Southwest Ohio Educational Purchasing Council and approving the bid for the purchase of the following Rush International, Conventional, and Cardinal Bluebird Transit buses. 84 passenger FE Bluebird Transit without luggage compartments for a total of $398,592. 72 passenger Rush International Conventional Student with Disabilities bus for $131,775. 72 passenger Rush International Conventional buses for a total of $363,810, for a total of $894,177.
So moved. Second.
Could you call the roll, please, Mr. Miller?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Please consider, or item number 3, please consider a resolution approving services with Maximum Roofing to replace Driscoll's roof to the participation in a contract with the Equals Group Purchasing Cooperative in the amount of $825,900. Oh my gosh, here we go. Okay, I got this. $825,290.
So moved.
Second.
Could you call the roll, please, Mr. Miller?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Yes, thank you for writing that. Consider a resolution approving the education policies as listed in the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Please consider, item number 5, please consider amending the board meeting schedule for the 2023 calendar year as previously discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Dernbaugh?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes. Any final comments regarding past or old business for the Board of Education?
Yes. I would like to wish everyone here and all of our staff and students in the community happy holidays to all. And I would like to commend Mrs. Sparks for doing a great job this year as our board president. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Sternbach?
Yes.
Dr. Rohr?
Yes.
Mr. Schreier?
Yes.
Megan Sparks?
Yes, we are adjourned.